Greetings to my extraordinary chapter sorors. I am soror Alla Thomas, initiated in Zeta Gamma, and I am honored to share briefly with you today. As a small business owner, I hope to share tidbits from my business success geared in sound business connections, interviewing tips, and articulating value. It is an honor to serve as a facilitator or speaker for the September 2021 chapter retreat for Xi Alpha Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha here in Houston, Texas. Let's begin. For the sake of today's objectives, we will cover a few different things. First, we will look at how to approach networking differently. Next, we will briefly cover maximizing interviewing opportunities and then conclude with resources. How to approach networking. The topic of networking in Xi Alpha Omega ignited plenty of enthusiasm. The unprecedented COVID situation, economic downturns, and job impacts elevated interviewing skill as a hot topic as well. How many times have you recently thought, I need to reconnect or touch base with a colleague? I should reach out to learn more about that opportunity. It's about time I change directions and make moves. I'm looking for something excellent. Where do I start to pivot? Networking deals with making the connections, and interviewing is actually the conduit for getting the job or position. Both are factors that can differentiate whether or not you successfully maneuver a new opportunity or explore newfound ground, per se. Take a moment to think about how you actually network. Why do you think that it's important? Business networking is about maintaining key relationships in all seasons of life. To the left of our screen, we have the most common approaches and strategies that many consider as reasons for business networking. Job search is the one that stands out. I need a new job. I'm looking for a new job. Have you heard about anything that might be a fit for me? Have you heard if your organization is looking to expand with a career option that fits me? Today, I'd like to look at alternatives, ways of thinking through making those connections or other approaches that may be just as effective, but have a different spin. I would recommend considering influence. When you approach your business networks, be mindful of their influence, their sphere of contacts. Be comfortable enough to ask them to introduce you to others versus being so targeted and narrow in your request. Next, I recommend also pivoting and asking for a reference. Explain what you are looking to do in your next journey, in your next move. Tell them where you are hoping to land. This is an advantage. It gives you an opportunity to complement the business contact. It gives you a chance to have a broader conversation about your strengths and your direction. It also allows you to springboard using their level of influence, professional credibility, and your personal opinion of them. It's almost like the respect factor. So whereas it is common to make the connection based on an imminent need or a hot topic, we are today being encouraged to think beyond what has been done and pivot and change the conversation with a shift to think about influence. Perhaps there will be more to talk about if there are more introductions. Think influence. Who else might you know as a connection that can keep me in mind? This is different than asking for a hiring lead or a job. It is different than asking if they can put you into their employee portal. It's different than saying, do you see anything for me? And making your business network be more of a recruiter versus an ally that can keep you in mind, help you springboard, leverage their own influences for broader conversations outside of the context of just a real-time need for a job. Don't get me wrong. The boxes on the left are very valid reasons to engage. I'm encouraging us to think differently and to business network in all seasons of life, keeping the connections going, keeping the channels going, being in touch. Next, let's progress forward. How to maximize interview opportunities. This is one of my favorite slides. First, I'd like to recommend that after the business connections are made, you've pivoted and looked for influencers and looked to ask for a reference for work to come. I want to have you examine the job or opportunity in detail. And that looks more like a microscopic vetting. If you will, consider an opportunity. When you have it, take a sheet of paper, take time out to think. On the left side of the paper, identify what are the requirements that the organization is seeking. On the right side of the paper, identify what your strengths, skills, knowledge, abilities, interests, and passions are. We want a side-by-side look at the job or opportunity matched against what it is you plan to offer and why you see it's a fit. Next, practice an elevator pitch. That's right, a 30-second commercial. Record yourself. We're in modern technological ages. We're in the selfie culture. Get your cell phone, practice your elevator pitch, phone a friend, call a soror, lean on the shield. Ask for a review and feedback. Ask for candid feedback in terms of initial reactions. Posture, tone, pace, disposition, word selection. And of course, look in the mirror and refine as applicable. The goal here is to maximize conversation starters using an elevator pitch that explains in 30 seconds what it is you're interested in and what you have to offer. Who knows where it can lead? Let's make sure you are prepared. Next, beyond an elevator speech and a preliminary discussion, we know that HR representatives or leadership contacts can have interest in learning more about you as an individual, more about your goals, your dreams, and primarily, if it's career and opportunity driven, more about what you have done and can do. Behavioral assessments are quite common. Tell me about a time when you showed leadership. Tell me about a time where you made a difference. Tell me about your conflict resolution proficiencies. Tell me about your technical skills. Explain to me your response applied in this business case study, right? Number of angles or approaches that could be placed before you. Whenever you are in an interview setting that is asking about your behavior and your responses, be sure to apply the START method. Be able to select a relevant scenario and describe it briefly. Be able to share what your role was clearly pertaining to a task assigned. Next, talk about steps you executed. Don't be modest, don't be bashful, be concise, but promote yourself. Result, explain the outcome. In the end, what happened? And lastly, the T, which is very important and highlighted here, tie. Connect the dots, put a bow on it. Yes, you thought about a scenario that you have in mind that you recall vividly. Yes, you told them what your role was, the actions and the outcomes, but putting a bow on it, connecting the dots looks something like this. Explaining the company's benefits, the impacts, notably stating how a difference was made. Here, I'll give you an example of a response that ties it all together in the end in step 5. I was assigned the project manager lead role for 15 employees. We successfully implemented for the business as designated. However, in the end, we had a cost savings of 25%. These monies were applied in new sectors of the business and made a key difference. Because of my leadership, the organization was able to have a better appreciation for the project management skill set, assigning me additional duties that were highlighted by the board of directors. I am able to furthermore pursue new opportunities and take on more scopes of work because of my impact to the area assigned as well as the corporation. This is connecting the dots and placing a bow on it. Next, I'd like to spotlight the Xi Alpha Omega initiative for polished and professional pearls. Please see your weekly correspondence for this future plan retention events and an initiative to keep our sorors engaged, inspired, elevated, and supported professionally. We have organized circles or pearls, if you will, of professional networks that have common jobs, common backgrounds, common professional interests, or related industry expertise. Please check your weekly correspondence because there is more to come. And finally, a few resources to keep in mind as part of this short overview. LinkedIn.com for professionals. There are Facebook career groups and interest groups for professional skill sets and proficiencies, study groups. TheLadders.com is a website that I referenced in terms of some of the highlights shared here. I'd like to credit that as a resource. Remember to leverage these on your journey. I'd also want to thank you for allowing me to encourage you on this voyage, on this journey in your pursuits. I encourage you to consistently network with your business contacts in all seasons of life, in all walks of life. Ask for a referral and not a job. Get your 30-second elevator pitch down succinctly. I'd also recommend you put a bow on it in the end by making those ties, connecting your experience to the benefits of the organization in the end. Be sure to use the SMART method. Thank you, Xi Alpha Omega, for allowing me to be a part of this wonderful experience. It is my desire that each of you will set sail and do great things. Remember to savvy network and to apply some interview tips from Zora Alla Thomas. Bye now. Take care.